Are you someone who collects piles of Amazon printed coloring books like me? And are you also collecting coloring pencils and you have way too many to choose from when you want to get down and just start coloring? Or maybe you are new to coloring and you don't know what coloring pencils to buy in order to color in those Amazon printed coloring books. Well, I don't know now, not yet, but if you want to know, stick around. The tournament of coloring pencils begin, and challenger is Amazon printed coloring books. This is phase 1, episode 1. Hello YouTube, friends and colorists and just simple watchers. I'm Mia, this is my coloring channel. So, here are the rules of this tournament. It would only be coloring pencils and it will be in their dry form. I will do an overall evaluation. I did this chart that I will use to analyze the pencils. I will do an overall evaluation on this Amazon paper. No, this is like a printed paper, but it's not Amazon, this is just copy paper. And I will do the final full coloring page evaluation in a coloring book from Amazon. Of course, these evaluations are a little subjective because it reflects my personal opinion. I will try to be as fair as possible, so I try to be as general for all the coloring pencils, but in the end is about my preferences. So take it with a grain of salt and make your own judgment. I'll give you the tools, but you'll have to watch my commentaries and my results, and after that you have to make your own decision. In today's episode we have Faber Castell brand in competition with 4 different lines of coloring pencils, and I have one no-name brand which is a watercolor pencils. So let's begin. Let me explain a little bit this. So like that. So I divided in 3 for one page. So we will have to write the brand, what type of pencil is, because we will have normal coloring pencils like oil-based coloring pencil or wax-based coloring pencils, but we are going to have watercolor brands. One disclaimer: one of the coloring pencils that will not be included at all in this tournament is Derwent Inktense, because Inktense is not a classical coloring pencils, is meant to be wet in order to get the light values, so it will not be fair to the pencil to include it in this type of evaluation. So I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. So just as general, I will give you the full set price of the coloring pencils if they are open stock, which sometimes is important. And my price, by my price I mean when I bought them, what was the price. I will do a random swatch of colors. Then I will give a fill score when they are swatched. So I'll look if they're scratchy or smooth, if they're oily or dry or whatever feeling I get. I would look at the coverage. That will include also if the pencil is able to cover all the white of the paper, considering that this is quite a flat, smooth paper. But also I will look at the intensity of the color. So I will rank from 1 to 3 stars. 1 is not so good, 3 is the best. I will look at layering, and by layering I meaning I will take 2 different colors, one light, one medium or dark, and I am going to make one layer of one, then I come with the other, then I come back many times on the same area, and I will see what kind of results that gives me. Also, I will be scoring for 1 to 3 stars. I will do also a blending test, evaluated 1 to 3 stars. I will do a smudging test. This will be only informative and will not be scored. And at the end, I will do a accumulation of all the scores from coverage, layering, blending. And I included only these in the final score because the price is different depending where are you living, or maybe you found many discounts. Maybe where we are living you don't find all the brands, so it's different for everybody. That would be yours to see what gives you. The smudging is not included because sometimes it's good, depend what you want to do. Sometimes it's not at all a good result, but the other score will be given by the full page coloring, which will have a value between 1 and 10, where 10 is the best, and it will be divided in 2. Actually, there will be 2 scores. 1 in appearance, how is the final page, and 2 is the feeling that I had while I was coloring the entire page. So yeah, let's start. I don't remember if I have to say anything else, but if I remember, I will tell you longer. So let me push some things here because I have too many on my table. So I will start with Faber Castell, the classic brand. This is like a children coloring pencils, and I selected these 3. So it said on the barrel classic color Faber Castell, and you have a numbering system for the pencils, and here you can write your name on the pencils. So these were fairly cheap. I watched on this is like a hard lead type of coloring pencil. I don't know if it's oil based or wax based. I don't have the information, but you have to remember that this is mainly meant for kids, but that doesn't mean we cannot use them in adult coloring. So on Amazon I saw the biggest set is of 60 pencils, and it will give in the end something like 39 euros per pencil. They are not open stock, and I don't remember how much I paid for mine because I bought them like 7 years ago. So I choose, they are not very pigmented because they are children's coloring pencil, obviously. I choose like a random coloring pencils to do the swatch. In all, I don't try to match the colors, I'll just do something random. When I color on this paper, I didn't feel they are scratchy. They are somehow smooth, not too smooth, but it glides on the paper. This is why here I said gliding, because I think they are going nice on the paper. And I think they are a little bit oily. That's just my feeling. So this is the coverage test with the purple pencil. So I did one simple layer. This is like 2 layers. This is like medium high pressure but not burnishing, and the last one is really burnishing. I went down with the color, so you can see the coverage is okay. It's not the best. You can still see clearly whites of the paper even when you are doing the medium high pressure. It kind of goes away when you are doing the burnishing, but I can still see some speckles of white paper. But the result is quite good, so I gave 2.5 stars for that. I chose 2 different colors for layering, like a warm yellow and a dark blue. So this is like the original colors. I left them so you can see, and this is the layering. So this I start with yellow, then I came with blue without pressing too much. The layering was, I became light pressure, then medium pressure, and just in the end I did a burnishing with the color next to it. So this the final burnishing was done with the yellow, and here the final burnishing was done with the blue. Initially I gave like 2.5 stars because it was the first pencils that I was testing, and after I did the other ones I came back and I downgraded to 2 stars just because the other were doing a lot much better results, so I needed to downgrade it so I do a fair scoring. Here I did the blending, so I took like a light yellow green and the dark bluish green, and you can see the layering is quite good. You can see from light colors going really gradually into the dark color, so I think it's quite good. I don't know if you can see this in this spot. I did intentionally a pass with the lighter green and I really burnish it, and I was trying to see if I can cover it, because sometimes you might do some mistakes or it's not the color that you wanted in the end and you want to do some damage control. So I was trying to see if you can cover it, and I can say that even for these pencils, they are not very pigmented. The result of covering is not excellent, but it's quite good. considering the intensity that it has when I tried it first time. For the smudging, I do a burnishing layer of a color. I try to do a dark color and a light color, and I just take my fingers. I try not to use hand cream or something on my hands, just my bare hands, because if you have cream that might change the results. And I just press down my fingers and I do it 2 or 3 times. So there's a little smudging. So in the end we have 7 stars out of 9. Remember, because we have just this one, and this one will give us the stars. So we have 7 out of 9. I will try to include a image of the packaging of these coloring pencils because I don't have it anymore. I put this crayon and these pencils in a I don't remember the name. They are stored differently. So I will give a score on the full coloring page, but this I will do in the end of this evaluation, just for you to be able to see comparison between all the coloring pages. Next is Gold Faber Aqua. These are watercolor based pencils from Faber Castell. You can 5 sets of 48 is the full set that they have. For myself, 48 is not always enough in amount of colors, but this is supposed to be a water base, so you can mix on the paper if you are doing that. But as dry, 48 maybe is not enough, but for me is enough if I want to go out somewhere and do some coloring on vacation or when I visit my parents. 48 is enough. So they are like this. You have a gray barrel. You have a numbering system, a barcode, because they are supposed to be open stock. I don't know if they are. I personally never saw that. Unfortunately, there are no names on these coloring pencils. Yeah, let's see the results. You can already see these are more pigmented than these ones. Price wise, they are more expensive. So at this moment on Amazon France, all my prices, if they are taken from Amazon, is Amazon France. You can find a full set of 48 at 50 euros. That will be 1.04 euros per pencil. And when I bought the 24 set, I had a discount, so I paid only 16 euros for 24, which will make 77 cents per pencil, which is quite good. These are really intense compared to this one. They have more depth in the color. They do not feel scratchy. They are less smooth than the classic ones, and that is probably due to the formula, because they are water based. They kind of feel oily, but a dry oil, not too much, just a little bit. and you can feel it like adhering to the paper when you are coloring, which is a feeling that I do like on the paper. Maybe you don't, but I really do. The coverage is quite good for the three squares. For the first three squares, it's pretty similar with the classic ones, but when you are doing the burnishing, that will cover all the square. So for me, I gave 3 stars. For the layering, it did a good job. I didn't have problem layer after layer after layer. I think I could still go on and add supplementary layers, not necessary, but if you want you can. So I gave it 3 stars. Blending was amazing. You can see the results yourself. I gave it 3 stars. Smudging, it does smudge more than the classic ones, so you have to keep in mind. Also, if you are someone who is using a lot of gel pens on top of coloring pencils, when you're using watercolor base, you have to keep in mind that the gel pen might get color. So if you use a white gel pen on a red watercolor pencil, it might turn pink. So you have to keep that in mind. So this has a perfect score of 9, which is quite amazing. Next, I have the Faber Castell Albrecht Dürer. So I have a 24 set, and I think I have 1 or 2 loose pencils somewhere. I don't remember. This is the high end of professional watercolor based coloring pencils. Let me try it. So just like the other ones, you have a barcode because they are supposed to be open stock. I personally, here where I live, I don't find this open stock. And here you have made in Germany, the sign of a watercolor pencil, Albrecht Dürer and Faber Castell on the same. And here you have the name and the number and the stars which correspond to the light fast of these pencils. Of course, if you are not a professional colorist, the light fast means nothing to you. So I will never ever take in consideration the light fast when I do coloring, because I don't sell my coloring. I just do it usually on books, and then I close them. They are not exposed to light, so light fast is not considered in this evaluation. Just already you can see these are even more pigmented than this one, and that is to be expected since the Goldfaber is like the middle brand. It's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive, it's the middle brand. So you can find full sets of 120 pencils. In this moment they cost like 215 euros per full set. This will give a 1.79 euros per pencil. They are open stock where I live. I can order online. The prices vary, so I didn't found the price. I don't remember how much I paid, but they are obviously more expensive than if you buy the full set. And when I bought my set of 24 I pay 33 euros, but I also have a discount, so in the end I paid 1.38 euros per pencil. They do not feel scratchy, they are smooth, like middle smooth. I give 1.5 star for the smoothness. They don't feel oily, they are adherent like this one, but even more adherent, so like 1.5 stars if I were to score. The coverage is exceptional, like this one, but even better I found. Layering, it goes quite well. I gave it 3 stars when I did it, but you have to keep in mind when you do this, when you already put many layers and you go on top to burnish, I observed some removal of the outer layer, just a little bit, but you have to keep in mind maybe it's not the effect that you're going for. So when you're burnishing, just look for this problem. Blending is amazing. You can see the intensity of the colors when I did the final burnishing on this one. Amazing. They are smudging some, just like gold Faber, but also you have to keep in mind they are watercolor based. Next I did the Faber Castell Polychromos, one of my favorite coloring pencils. These are oil based and they are hard lead. The price, I was surprised at this moment. A full set of 120 coloring pencils of Polychromos has the same price as Albrecht Dürer. So you will have 1.79 euros per pencils, but if you're looking at, sometimes you can find very good discounts. For a full set I found even at 1.33 per pencils. They are open stock where I live, in the stores, online, and on Amazon. Amazon is really expensive for like not so classic colors. You can go up to 4 euros per pencil, which is insane, but generally is 1.9 euros per pencils in open stock. And when I bought mine, I bought a set of 24, I believe, or 36, I don't remember. And then I built up my collection by buying open stock, but generally it was about 2 euros per pencil. If you want to compare the intensity with the Albrecht Dürer, you can see they are not so intense as these ones, and that is due to the fact that they are oil based and they are a hard core pencils. If you use another type of paper, you will have maybe different results depending on the paper. They do not feel scratchy, they are really smooth, they are oily. I put 2 stars out of 3, but it's a dry oil, it's not a wet oil. I don't have other observation for the feeling. The coverage is pretty good, but is not by far as good as these two, so I gave it 2.5 stars. Layering is amazing. I gave it 3 stars. I really do like the final result. This covers nicely, is smooth, the colors are amazing. And blending, I loved it. I love to blend on this paper with the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and I gave it 2.8. It's not the best, but it's amazing. It does smudge, especially the darker colors. This is like a brownish color. I don't know if you can see, but there are some smudging here too. So in the end, I gave it 8.3 stars in total, which is less than the Albrecht Dürer and the Gold Faber, but it's definitely more than the classic Faber-Castell. And I would like to put in the end a no brand watercolor coloring pencils, which started all this madness. These are, I call them Hero, because on the barrel of the coloring pencils is like this. I hope you can see it. This is the sign of watercolor pencils. They say watercolor pencils, something in Chinese, I believe. Hero, a number which is the same number on all the pencils, and the number system, which is W from watercolor, I believe, and a number. I hope you can see it well. So this is like a 72 set. It came with the case. It came with a brush, an eraser, and 2 gel pens. And I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it was cheap, like really, really cheap. I believe I paid like 20 euros for all that. And I also have the case. Obviously, they are not open stock, and I don't remember how much I paid. They are quite pigmented for the price I paid. Here I tried to use the same color in order to do a fair comparison. These are not scratchy, somehow smooth, but not the best. They are not oily, but they feel adherent to the paper, so I give it 1.5 there in the middle. The coverage I gave 2.3 stars, less than the Polychromos, because I have difficulties to do the medium pressure and the burnishing. I really went to town with the burnishing. It was not so easy. Layering, it looks smoothly, but it's not pigmented, so I had trouble to put a lot of layers on top and on top. You can see in the end the results are quite light. Even this blue, if you burnish it, it's quite intense, but it's not pigmented. So the layering was 2.3 stars. It's not bad, but they are best. They do smudge a little, and the final score is 6.6 stars. So just to resume, I don't know if you can see all this in the like that. So we have 7 stars for the classic Faber-Castell, 9 for Gold Faber, 9 for Albrecht Dürer, 8.3 for Polychromos, and 6.6 stars for no brand name watercolor pencils. So obviously, if you are judging just from this evaluation, the Gold Faber and Albrecht Dürer will be the winners, and if you have to pick just one, will be Albrecht Dürer because they are more pigmented. But I found in my colorist life that just doing evaluation like this on the paper, it's not really realistic. You have to try to color on the paper that you want to color, and after that you can make a judgment, because it's not just small squares they are filling with the colors. There are forms. You want to go lighter or dark, you have to layer, you have to make changes if you had made mistakes. So it's not always easy. So I will start with the lowest score, and that will be the hero. So I have colored in The Cutest Houses, a gray scale coloring book by Rachel Mintz, and this is Amazon printed paper. So I colored this one. You have not to take in consideration the background. It was done with gel crayons. There's just the house, the trees, the mouse and the cat. These are done with the coloring pencils, and you can see is really nice. These are shades that really existed on the paper, but I also try to do like shadows with the color, so I choose a darker green to go on the paper. And I really love how these coloring pencils go on this paper. But you have to keep in mind, in this type of books you don't do a lot of gradation of color, because you already have the grayscale. So this doesn't have a lot of gradation. A little bit on the trees here, but it's quite limiting. And this is another one that I did, and obviously not a lot of gradation. And a trouble that I had with these watercolors pencils is that when I tried to do the gel crayons on top without adding water, it was the dry method, you can see that the color from the hearts were smudged into the white of the paper. So that's not ideal. Something to keep in mind when you're planning your coloring, because maybe it will ruin your page if you don't pay attention. I do love these, and even if these as watercolor pencils are horrible, because I try to dilute and see how they perform. As watercolors, I don't like them at all. They are not good, but as dry on the paper, I loved it. I loved the process, and I also loved the end result. So I don't know where to put all these things. So this was Hero, and I'll go now to the classic. Where is my classic? Let me see if I can find it. No. Okay, I don't know where I put it. So we'll go to Polychromos, because Polychromos, I did it twice. So this is the first one I did with polychromos, and this was not fun to do. Maybe the end result is okay. I like it. I don't want to lie. Is okay. The stars, these 3 stars are done with some gel pens, but the rest of the page is just polychromos, and it was not nice to do this. And when I saw the scar on this paper, I told myself, hey, maybe you were not feeling good when you did this one, try another time. And I did this one with polychromos, and I have the same problem. I didn't finish it. I have the bulbs to color too, but in the end, the combination of polychromos with Amazon printed paper is not a gain. It's a lose for the coloring pencils because they do not reach their full potential on this paper. I find it's difficult to color on the paper. It's like it doesn't leave you to put the color down. You have to burnish in order to have deep colors. I do find that when you put the color down, it's less vibrant than on a more quality paper. I had to burnish here to have this intense color, and these are dark colors that I use, so it's not normal. So for me, this combination of polychromos and Amazon paper, it's a no-no. It's not the worst, but it's no. And yes, now I remember, for the classic Faber Castell, I did not do a coloring page, and that was because, and we will see further in this series, is that when I don't find that is a good result, I will not do a full coloring page, and I will note that it was not done because I already feel it will not give the better results than the other one in the same series, because in the end I have to a lot of coloring pages. So usually I'll do just the better ones. So I have Gold Faber Aqua. It was this coloring page, and I love the final effect, and I love the feeling that I get when I colored with these ones. One not negative observation is they are not so pigmented. So sometimes when you don't have that rich deep color, you cannot have that effect that you are looking for. But in the end, they are good coloring pencils, and I do prefer them more than the polychromos on this paper. And the final one is the Albrecht Dürer. I did this one. All these coloring books are from Morgan O'Brien. I have many of his books, and this is what I've done, and I love the whole process, the layering, how smooth it went on the paper, the depth of the colors, everything. So now I think we will have to go and see which of all these coloring pencils gave the best scores. So yeah, I tried to put somehow all the coloring pages. in the same frame. So you can see from afar the results are not so different. But next, let's see. Let's see how we will score all of these. Yeah. Let's be the professor and give some notes. So the classic one, no notes. If you want me to do a coloring page with this one, let me know. But for my personal feeling, I don't think it will be better than the other ones. So a gold Faber Aqua appearance, I will give a 8.5 out of 10, and that is because they are not deep enough. And the feeling, I will give 9.5. I will not give a perfect 10 because it's just the start of the competition. We will see later how it's going to happen. Albrecht Dürer, so appearance, it will be 9.5 for me. Feeling, also 9.5. Faber-Castell, appearance, it will be 8.0, less than the Gold Faber. And the feeling is where I'm going to put a less better note because I really didn't enjoy it, so I will put 6.5. And the hero, the watercolor appearance, I will give a 8.5. And I'll give 8.5 because I didn't do a lot of gradation. Maybe if I will do other coloring pages with this pencil, I will come back and see if I will change or not. This note before the moment is 8.5, and the feeling, the feeling is 9.0 for me. So in the end, from all these 5 coloring pencils, the best for me will be the Gold Faber and the Albrecht Dürer, and they are both watercolor based coloring pencils, which was my initial thought that maybe in these coloring pencils. So yes, these are my final thoughts. Gold Faber and Albrecht Dürer will go on the final challenge later, but I will keep these notes open because I will test many coloring pencils I have at home. That will include many watercolor based, and I have to tell you from now, not all water-based coloring pencils are exceptional on this paper. It depends of the brand. Yeah, so I hope this was not a very long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this tournament of coloring pencils is fun to watch, and I hope you get something positive out of this one. So thank you for watching. Please give a like if you like what I have put together here, and hope to see you soon. Bye!